Today I'm driving a really special car. Special because it's a car that I'd really wanted to buy way back in 2009 when it was first introduced in India. It was a gorgeous looking car, it had tons of space inside, and the petrol engine was a really refined and peppy unit. But while everyone loved this car, not many could afford it because of the prohibitively expensive price tag. Yes, I'm talking about the Honda Jazz, and it's back in an all-new avatar. But is this new Jazz really a practical option considering the plethora of cars that are available in this segment right now? Well, that's exactly what we're here to find out, and helping me in this task is our chief road tester, Dilip Desai.
Ajit, how
Hello,
are you?
Kaka, I'm good.
Yeah.
I see that you're already ready with the new diesel Jazz here.
Absolutely. And as you are aware, we have driven these Jazzes in Goa a few months back, but then that was not the place to do a complete evaluation. I'm here today with the new diesel Jazz, and we have come in with the petrol Jazz. And well, if you look at it externally, it's completely different from the what old Jazz was. Let's put it this way, that this is jazzier than the old Jazz. The lines are crispier, the angles are there, the tail lamps are Volvo-ish, the headlamps are angular, not forgetting the piano black grille, which you like, I'm sure.
Absolutely, I prefer piano black finishes compared to
and
the
the car
chrome
is
grille.
overall so much sportier than before that I think Hondas have done a great job in offering it in the new avatar.
I don't think, Kaka, that if you look at this car, anybody can say, oh, it's a bad looking design.
It's a very, very attractive car, and the most important thing is that there are many attractive cars, but this car is very, very sporty, to look at. It's really amazing, and Hondas have tall claims that the internally also she is completely different.
Is it?
Yes.
Does it have the same kind of space that the old Jazz had?
Look, the question is that they say that it has more space and a lot of other gimmickry. I think the best thing to do is to go and find out really what they have done inside.
Why don't we do that?
Why don't you do that? Come,
Right.
let's
All
do
right.
that right away.
Wow, this car does look as big from the inside as it's on the outside.
Yes, Ajit.
Kaka, I'm not the tallest of guys in this team, but I can easily tell that this Jazz won't pose a problem for the tallest of people.
Absolutely. Ajit, what's really important is that this Jazz, especially in the driver's seat, since it's an adjustable seat and I like to sit in a position at its highest. Now this seat is at its highest and still there is so much of headroom here with an adjustable seat. It's really amazing. And this is not only limited to the headroom, the shoulder room, the leg room, both for the front seat and the rear seat, not forgetting the luggage space at the back. Hondas have achieved a lot in providing overall passenger space inside this new Jazz.
That's right. Aside from the upcoming Suzuki Baleno, the Jazz is among the most spacious hatchbacks in India today. The large windscreen and windows also add an airy feel to the cabin. Rear seat space and legroom has also improved thanks to a long wheelbase, and the slightly reclined rear seats in the top-end VX variant keep passengers at the back happy. However, the lack of rear AC vents and a center armrest can be felt, especially during long drives. The top-end variant comes with Honda's Magic Seats that let you fold down the seats easily to throw open 881 litres of cargo space as opposed to the 354 litres with all seats intact. Moving on to the front, you will find the dashboard layout similar to the Honda City's. The steering wheel is exactly the same as in the City, minus the cruise control button. And the instrument cluster is also similar. The ambient cluster lights also change color from blue to green depending on your driving style, a feature we really like.
You have to give marks to the design and have a look at the dashboard in front of you. It's completely mind-boggling, and what I want to point out to you is that if you are very fond of the piano black finish from the grille, it continues in the central console.
Absolutely,
also.
I can see that here.
And it is accentuated by the brushed chrome finish on the grills and on the trimmings. It's really a very attractive.
I can also see that it's got a 5-inch display on this car.
Correct. And this display is very unique because they have provided a day and a night mode for the display on the screen, whereby even the brightness of the sunshine in the afternoon, the screen and everything is visible on it. and then you can put it back on the night mode so that it doesn't hurt your eye at night. Lot of R&D done, no
Yeah,
doubt
but
about
I
it.
believe this screen is smaller than the one on the top end variant.
Correct. The
which is
top end has a
6.2.
slightly larger screen than this, and how that screen displays we'll see in the other car. But
Alright.
as far as this car is concerned, this display in front of you is really very, very attractive.
Kaka, one more thing that I noticed is that the Jazz has so many storage spaces. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I've counted about 12 cubby holes
You are
and
right.
cup holders.
You are right, Ajit. It has 12 cubby hole spaces. What is really relevant is that today in India, when you go and buy a drinking water bottle, you get a 1 liter bottle by default. And this Jazz has 4 recessions in 4 door panels which can accept a 1 liter drinking water bottle, which is really amazing, non-existent in some other cars.
So convenient for all the
Absolutely. That means lot of attention has been paid and given to the interior design of the car also. Externally attractive, sporty, fine, but internally very, very functional, very, very attractive, and something you will feel pride to own.
So Kaka, I think the interiors are brilliant, but I think it's time now to take the Jazz on the road and see how it performs.
Exactly. I always keep saying that the proof of the cake lies in eating it, and that's what we are here today for. So let's go and have a drive.
Let's go.
So while Kaka drove the petrol Jazz, I took the diesel one out for a spin. Powering the petrol Jazz is the same 1.2-litre Ivy-Tech engine that does duty in the Honda Brio and the Amaze, but with marginally more power and torque. What immediately stood out about the petrol motor is its smooth and silent operation.
If somebody knows how to make smooth petrol engines, Hondas take the cake. Like all their cars, this 1.2 liter petrol engine in the new Jazz is absolutely super smooth. No vibration, no noise, nothing. And the ease with which it revs up is really alarming. What is relevant about this petrol Jazz is that, like all 1.2 liter engines, the buyers do have a benefit of excise, but when it comes to performance, the low RPM torque is completely lacking, and this car is no exception. Unless you rev it up, there is nothing happening, but once it revs up, it's a pleasure to drive. And I'm sure that this engine, having coupled to the gearbox, which is a 5-speed, fuel economy could be a question mark. In this particular car, it is nothing out of the roof. It is similar, around 14 or 13.5 kilometers to a liter in the town, and around 20 plus kilometers, around 23, 24 outside on the highway. But that also comes provided you drive at very, very reasonable speeds. Once you start moving faster than 80, 90 or 100 kilometers an hour, and the Indian traffic does move at 100 kilometers an hour, your fuel consumption can be in jeopardy. But as far as the rest of the car is concerned, it is a pleasure to drive.
The diesel engine, on the other hand, behaves completely different from the petrol. For starters, it's really noisy, which can get unpleasant while driving. But then, the 1.5-litre oil burner is not without its rewards. It's not too quick or punchy, but power delivery is linear. And together with the 6-speed manual gearbox, it makes the Jazz extremely tractable.
It's easy to understand why the diesel motor is the pick of the engines. Power and torque is available at really low RPMs, which makes for excellent drivability both in city and the highway. Also, the 6-speed gearbox is really slick and helps in achieving high fuel efficiency as well.
If anything, we would have liked slightly beefier tires in the Jazz, but then again, this is a car focused on fuel efficiency. Honda claims a fuel efficiency figure of 27.3 kilometers per liter for the diesel Jazz. However, in our test runs, the Jazz returned a more modest 22 kilometers per liter, which still puts it among the most fuel efficient in its class.
A couple of things that I found about this car. There's very little turbo lag, and overtaking is a really easy affair, like this.
After a healthy session of driving both the Jazzes, it was time now to arrive at a decision.
So Ajit, here we are at the end of the test drive of both the cars, the diesel and the petrol Jazz. What's your take on this?
Kaka, I must admit that the new Jazz is definitely a lot more tempting package than it was earlier. It's a lot more stylish to look at. It's definitely a lot more spacious as we've seen. And it's not to forget, it's a lot more affordable as well.
Well, affordability is one of the important factors, but you know what is the key factor? The key factor is that the diesel has a larger engine and an additional gear in the gearbox, that is a 6-speed manual, and that makes all the difference in the drivability, the performance, the economy and the works. So after arriving at that conclusion, what do you want to add to this?
I just need the keys to your diesel Jazz.
So here are the keys to the Jazz,
Thank
the
you.
diesel Jazz.
Time to jazz up my evening.
Overall, the Jazz gets our thumbs up for its stylish looks, spaciousness and a diesel motor that scores high on drivability and fuel efficiency. What remains to be seen now is how well the Jazz manages to stand the test against other premium hatches, the more popular Hyundai i20 Elite and the upcoming Maruti Suzuki Baleno.